Okay, so let's look at Sequence Kinetics integration with Microsoft Dynamics CRM in action. We have a company here that sells whiteboards, and they use Microsoft Dynamics CRM to maintain their customer relationship. They also use Sequence Kinetics to extend the capabilities of Dynamics CRM to turn it into a very powerful tool that they can serve their customers that much better. Here we are in Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and we have three products that the organization sells here, and they're whiteboards, numbers just 1, 2 and 3, and we'll see this product catalog exposed to the end user. We'll come back and look at Dynamics in a bit more detail in a moment, but here we are in Sequence Kinetics. I'm going to go straight into starting the process. Now I'm going to create this from our SharePoint based portal, but of course this can be exposed via the web, it can be exposed via mobiles, however you want end users, customers, employees to start the processes. I simply click on this link, all delivered through the browser, so I don't need to install anything on the client PC. The web forms can be branded to look however you want for the end customer, for your own organization. And you can have whatever information presented. You'll see here I'm capturing information to start the process. Of course we can start the process in CRM, and that will then launch a sequence process. But here we're starting it in sequence, and we'll be interacting with Dynamics CRM automatically as part of the process, and you'll see that in action as we go through. So I'm going to start off by entering the name of the company. The new company that wants to join is called Greenway, and we just capture the number of employees. We can of course capture lots of information about it, but we're just trying to keep it simple here. This organization has a number of locations. Each location has an owning contact, and for each of those locations they want to buy a whiteboard. So we're going to capture that information using our grid controls here. So I'm going to add the contacts first. I'm going to add myself. I'm the first contact. Again, it's all highly configurable. You can capture whatever information you want. James at greenway.com. And I'll just add another contact. We can add as many as we want to. Just put Sarah's email in, Sarah at greenway.com. So I've captured some contacts. I'm going to add some locations. First is going to be headquarters, 123 Clarendon Road in Watford. And here my drop down is actually connected to the contacts that I have just put in above. Makes a very easy end user experience, very easy to use. I'll also add a second one, Southern Office, 123 High Street. I would have that one in Brighton. And again we'll assign that to Sarah. We insert the second location. Now for the products down here, I'm actually going to select which products I wanted. Now I could be the end user, as I'm doing here. I could be someone on a call center. Can be many channels that we can capture this information. I'm going to add a product, and I can select the location. Again, just as we've entered up here. So we'll start off with headquarters. In here, now here, these are the products that I showed you earlier from Dynamics CRM. We don't have to store those separately in sequence. We're reaching out, pulling that information out of CRM and including it on the form here. So we're going to have two that we want to install in the headquarters. And we want a number for the Southern Office, just a whiteboard number 2. but we'd like to have training for this particular whiteboard because we don't have any technical people in the southern office. Whoops, I just forgot to insert it. Let me just do that again. Product whiteboard 2, training, and insert. Now I've captured all the information. I just click submit here. I'll show you the process that's going on behind the scenes in the administration a little later, but lots has happened behind the scenes, including a credit check. And thankfully Greenway has passed the credit check, which means I receive an order acknowledgement telling me what the monthly cost is, who submitted it, and allowing me to enter a purchase order number. This is my purchase order number 1234, and I click submit. Now that's the job done as far as I am as the customer. I'll receive an email shortly just confirming that the order has been received, and over here we can see that the process has now moved on to the customer service team. So we've reached out to our customer service team for them to review this particular order. So I'm going to log in as Peter Green and action his step. Before I do that, one of the capabilities we have in Sequence Kinetics is the ability to be able to monitor the progress of any particular process using our view status option. So here we can see a graphical view of the process. Each of the steps that has been actioned has a check against it. Now here let's have a little look at the process. This is very similar. When we look at the process in the administration, you'll see it's very similar to what we're looking at here. We filled in an order form, the customer filled that in. Here we actually called out to an external credit check agency via a web service, passed the details about the customer in. Luckily Greenway passed, so we sent a form to the customer very quickly, very seamlessly, telling them they'd been received. If they'd failed the test, then we could have entered into a little appeal cycle where if they still want to carry on, want to be one of our customers renting the whiteboards, then we would review that on a case-by-case basis. But all is good. So we've actually come through here and we've moved on to stage 3, which is for the quoting. And we can see here in Dynamics CRM we've actually created an account. We've created an opportunity and linked it to that account. No one in the organisation has had to do that. We've applied best practice, we've automated it, done it very quickly, very efficiently. We've even been able to calculate some standard discounts, and it's now gone to the service management team for them to review the next step. So let's have a quick look in Dynamics CRM and just see what we've got up here in here. So if I go into the accounts, we should have, there we go, we have Greenway in here. If I go into opportunities, we'll see we've got a new opportunity within here as well, and we've linked it to Greenway. If I open up the opportunity, we haven't populated lots of details here, but what we can see down here is the discount field is blank. I'm pointing that out because we'll be calculating that and populating that a little later. So I'm now going to log on as one of the members of the customer service team, as Peter. And Peter is here in Sequence Kinetics. He receives a task to review the order. He has one working day to action it. It's currently showing as green, so he knows he's still got time to do it. Sequence Kinetics is very good at making sure tasks happen on time, reminding users if they forget to do something. So let's open up the task. Here you'll notice we're using Google Chrome. The end users can use all the standard browsers. And here Peter has access to the order form that was filled in originally, but of course a read-only one. You can see all the details. And here he's going to review the order. Through business logic, it's decided because of the monthly revenue, the standard discount is going to be 5%. Peter may decide he wants to keep that at 5%, or he may decide that he wants to up it, could even lower it. He's also got access to social BPM capabilities, where he may want to ask someone else in the organisation, what do you think we should do here? Rather than relying on email, relying on an instant messenger conversation, which can get lost from the audit trail, he can ask a question, he can comment on it, and everyone else interacting with the process later on will see that information. So he thinks Greenway's a good customer to have, so he's going to increase the discount. Before he does that, he needs to take ownership of the task by clicking on the Fetch Task button. It's now disappeared from his colleagues' list of tasks. They don't need to worry about it. He's now got ability to action it. He's going to update it, increase it to 8%, and click Submit. Because he has increased the discount, the company then send this for approval by an appropriate manager. That's one of their business rules, captured very easily in Sequence Kinetics. And we can see I'm actually the approving manager. So Mark's done his piece. I'll move away from him. If I look back in my inbox, I'll see I've now got an approved discount task. But of course, I'm an approving manager. I could be out and about. So there's other ways that I can interact with Sequence. I can use my mobile app. We have an HTML5 mobile app that allows me to action tasks on my smartphone or on my tablet when I'm out and about. What I'm actually going to do in this instance is use email. The email may take a couple of minutes to come through the system. Let's just have a look at my email and see if it's come in yet. Here we go. Yes, there's the email. It's come in. It's an HTML email. You can, again, just as you can in the forms, you can have your own branding, your own look and feel here. But what's important is you can include information about this particular, could be about the account, about the opportunity. We've got all those details in here, including the standard discount, the proposed discount, and a link that would allow me to then complete the web form that we saw I could access from SharePoint Flowtime portal. But because I'm out and about, I don't have time to open up my laptop to connect that way. So from my smartphone, from my email, wherever I'm accessing my email, I can actually use what we call one-click emails. I can review the details and make my choice. I can either decide, yes, let's use the proposed 8% discount, or no, I think for this one we should just use the standard 5% discount. I'm going to be generous. We want to use the proposed discount. I just click on the link and that's job done. If we now have a look in our process, if I refresh this view, we'll see that we've moved on. Oops, if I press the right one. Now if we have a look, we can see we've approved the discount over here. So we've decided we're going to use that additional discount. And we've also updated our opportunity. If I quickly go back and have a look at my opportunity now, we'll see, there we go, we're now showing an 8% discount. We can update all the fields, as many fields as we want to, at whichever point in the process we want to, not just when we create it, not just when the process is completed, but as we're going through the process. And we can now see it's with the customer, for the customer to accept the quote. As I'm playing the customer as well, I'll have received the task in here as well. But of course we may decide we're going to send the customer an email. However we want to interact with our customer. I haven't quite got my maths right in this demo. That is in fact the discount rather than the actual price. But I'm happy with this. And I click Submit. Now I can actually see the current workflow has successfully completed. Lots has happened over here. Now if I'm the customer, I won't show this to I won't show this to the customer, but for the purposes of the demonstration. So what we can see is I've accepted the quote. We've now sent delivery date notification and installation date several times. What's actually happening here for each of the products that we've selected, and let me show you in the workflow diagram. Just refresh it again. And here's one of the real powers of using sequence kinetics with dynamic CRM. It's not just about applying that best practice, not just about automating the steps, it's about being able to create lots of items. Here we can see we've accepted the quote, so we're now processing the order. We've updated the opportunity to say it's closed. We've now looped around for each of our contacts. We've looped around here creating those contacts. For each of those locations we've created a new address in CRM. We're even throughout this process publishing documents to SharePoint. And then for each of the product lines we're calling out to our ERP system to raise the order, which is telling us when it can be delivered. We're then creating the product in CRM. If the customer's requested installation, we're creating an installation task. If they've requested training, we're creating a training task, and then looping around for as many products as the customer has selected, finally ending and just letting the customer know that's the end, all done, your order has been processed. So let's have a look at some of those messages that came in. So a delivery date notification telling me whiteboard 1, we're going to deliver 2 whiteboard 1s to HQ on the 27th of July. And installation has been scheduled. Second message is on the 8th of July the Southern Office will receive its whiteboard number 2, and so on, and training has been scheduled as well. And finally the order has been processed. Now this is just one example of how you can use sequence kinetics with Microsoft Dynamics CRM. You can use it to apply best practice, you can use it to automate the process, take those different ways that people may do it out of the equation, have it as a clearly defined process. You can have full visibility on the process. And you can also change the process. So let's have a look at how we can apply hot change to our customer relationship management processes that we're automating on top of Dynamics CRM using sequence kinetics. So we're going to have a quick look in the App Studio. Before we do that, just to show that I'm not making it all up, let's have a look, let's see what we've got. We should hopefully have in here, we should have some contacts. There we go, there's the 2 contacts that I created in Dynamics CRM. So administration, how do we achieve this? It's not about writing lots of lines of code. It's not about having to use XRM in Dynamics CRM. Of course, there may be certain situations where XRM is the right choice. The majority of cases, when you're reaching out outside of Dynamics CRM, you want to integrate with external systems. You perhaps want to manage items within CRM but with non-core CRM users, or using some complex business logic but that you want to have some agility with, then sequence kinetics is your answer. Here we are in the administration. It's a very similar view to when we were monitoring the workflow status. So here we can see, I've zoomed out a little just so you can fit it all in. So we've been through the process. Here's the process that we followed through. If I want to make a change, for instance, let's have a look at the order form. Oops. Here's my order form. If I want to add a new field, I just choose where I want to add that and select the control from my palette of controls. I can actually create multiple views. We were talking earlier about mobile views. I can create a view that is accessed on the mobile. So if you want to present data to users on smartphones, you can tailor it for that smaller real estate that you have on mobile screens. Very quick to add fields, and to start capturing more information from the user or presenting more information. We can also surface information from Dynamics CRM very quickly and very easily on these forms by being able to, let me show you the data model behind the scenes. We've actually got a link to the product catalogue where we're retrieving the products within a certain subject and displaying those within the drop down. So on that note, let's have a little look at how we can interact with Dynamics CRM. For those of you that are familiar with the CRM service, the web service API that comes with Dynamics CRM, we have used that for our activities here, but in a way that's very friendly and very quick to be able to use. I can create entities, whether they are out of the box entities or custom entities that you may have added to your CRM implementation. I can update those entities, delete them if I want to, but I can also do other updates. Now, if you're very familiar with Dynamics CRM, you'll understand what these are about. If you want to abstract that so that the business user that is creating these processes doesn't need to worry too much about the internal workings of the integration with CRM, we use a technique what we call CRM functions. And I've got just two here, where these are processes within Sequence Kinetics where all the clever technical stuff has been done, and all that I need to provide, rather than more the inner workings of CRM, is just some mappings. Over here we have, in order to create a contact, I just need to provide a few personal details and a few company details. I just map where I've collected that within my process into the fields, and that's all that I need to do. Very easy to do as a business user. I don't need to understand how Dynamics CRM works from an integration point of view. That's all taken care of for me. Means you're also only building those functions once, and you can use them many times in whichever process that you need to use them. But let's have a little look at one of the activities in action. So for the more technically minded amongst you, what do we actually do? The first job is to create a CRM connection. Once that's been done once, doesn't need to be done again. You provide appropriate credentials, and that will tell me all the organisations that are within that particular CRM, and I select which ones I want to use at this particular time. In this case, we're creating an entity. So what we have here is the create entity method, and I've already selected for this, because I'm creating an account, I've already selected an account from the many different entities that are available, including, if we have a look down, if I can find it, I've got one I created. I can't remember what I call it now, but it's in here some. So if you create your own entities, you can actually create instances of those entities within here as well. You then have access to all the settings, all the fields available, and for each of the fields you can just map information collected in the process into that. So here we are setting the name, setting the number of employees. That's all we're doing for now, but of course we could fill in all the details, the addresses, contact information, whatever you want to include. Okay, so that's all we've got time for now. Just to recap, we've shown you how within a process it's easy to capture information from the user using our web forms in a very nice user experience, whether I'm a CRM user or a non-CRM user, perhaps even external to the organization. And then how we can have some quite sophisticated business logic to decide what we're going to do with that information, and then pass that information into CRM. Also retrieve information out of CRM as well. Okay, Well, thank you for your time. If you do have any questions, the team will have a short questions and answer session in a moment. But otherwise, thank you for your time.